The sculptural pieces of Salamis in the collection of the Fitzwilliam Museum originate from the 1891 early excavations of the Cyprus Exploration Fund. The fund was an association between the British Museum, the University of Cambridge and the University of Oxford, so as a result of that, an important part of the finds was then donated to the Fitzwilliam Museum. Salamis is a city in the eastern coast of Cyprus, approximately 5 miles away from the modern city of Famagusta. As the city had a very long and prosperous history, one that starts as early as the 11th century BC, when the earlier archaeological evidence we have from the city comes from. So there is quite a lot of evidence of early burials that also indicate a Phoenician presence in the city, and also the city is later mentioned in the Assyrian texts as one of the important kingdoms of ancient Cyprus. We also know that the city maintained very good links with not just the Near East, but also with the Aegean world. And that's particularly important at the time when the Greeks are expanding eastwards and they're forming new colonies in places such as Syria and Minor Asia. The city continued to prosper and grow during the 4th century BC, and there's a number of important buildings that are inaugurated at that time. So during the Roman times, Salamis becomes part of the Roman province of Cilicia, and at that moment, obviously, the seat of the governor of Cyprus, of Roman Cyprus, is in Paphos, in a different city. It's not in Salamis, but that doesn't mean that Salamis loses out on importance as a city. This phase, the 2nd century AD, is exactly the time of the revival of Greek ideas, and also a time for impulse for cultural development, as we've seen it in many other areas of the Roman world. The monuments and the objects we possess from Salamis in our collection testify exactly to this revival.
Hello, so here we have a statue, or what remains of a statue, of Dionysos, as the Greeks pronounce it, Dionysos, and it comes from the Gymnasion of ancient Salamis on the east coast of Cyprus. And gymnasion in Greek means a place where people who are completely naked exercise. And so it's entirely appropriate that our sculpture of the god, the wine god, the god of metamorphosis, Dionysus, is depicted completely nude. Of course, originally he had genitals, and originally, of course, he had a head, but we think, I mean, it's not absolutely certain, but as Salamis was a very important Christian site in later Roman antiquity, we think possibly this is actually the result of vandalism. Another possible explanation is that he toppled over and that it broke, and that part of Cyprus is liable to earthquakes. It's known to have had 2 at least, particularly nasty one extremely strong. So what you notice here is the curvature of the body. This is not rigid, this is terrifically naturalistic, and so it goes back ultimately to the 3rd quarter of the 4th century BC, the era of Praxiteles of Athens. But he, of course, is not of that period. He belongs to the 2nd century of our era, which is when there was a great neoclassical, one might say, revival, when styles of earlier periods were recapitulated and reproduced. This happens to be a particularly excellent example. It's made from Pyrean marble, that is marble, the very best marble from the island of Pyre in the Cyclades, the central Aegean. And I can't show you, but round the back he is particularly finely developed. This is a young, an athletic Dionysus, a vigorous, muscular, athletic Dionysus. And I hope you'll all enjoy not just him, but of course many, many other objects in our permanent collection.
All 3 pieces of sculpture from the Roman Gymnasium of Salamis are currently displayed in the Anastasia Gallery of Cypriot Antiquities in the Fitzwilliam Museum. The gallery was redisplayed in 1997 as a result of a very generous gift from the Leventis family. Today, the Cypriot Antiquities of the Fitzwilliam Museum are once again going to be the center of a new research project, which will go on for the next 3 years. We are once again grateful to the Leventis Foundation for funding this project, and we are aiming to recontextualize and reassess our collection in the light of recent advances in Cypriot and Aegean archaeology. The sculptures of Salamis and the objects originating from Salamis in this collection will be part of this project, so please look out for research results and other updates relating with this project in the next coming years.